Stephen didn't argue, he didn't beg, he just said, "Okay," and hung up. But that calm response was deceiving, because inside, Stephen was already planning what came next. For the next 2 days, Stephen withdrew completely. He stopped answering his mother's calls. He stopped responding to texts from his attorney. He sat alone in his house, drinking, staring at the walls, thinking. Neighbors would later say they saw lights on in his house all night, but never saw him come outside. On the evening of April 11th, Stephen drove to his mother's house in Cary, North Carolina. Grace was surprised to see him. He usually called first. "I need to take Bennett for the night," Stephen said. "I'm going to drive him up to New York tomorrow, let Katie see him, try to work things out." Grace hesitated, something in his eyes looked wrong, empty. "Are you sure that's a good idea?" she asked. "You're not supposed to be in contact with her." "I just want her to see the baby," Stephen said. "That's all, I'll bring him back tomorrow." Grace reluctantly agreed. She handed Bennett over, watching as Stephen strapped the baby into the car seat. "Call me when you get there," she said. "I will," Stephen promised. He didn't. Grace stayed up all night waiting for a call that never came. She tried his phone multiple times, each call went to voicemail. By sunrise, she knew something was terribly wrong. And then at 7:00 a.m., her phone finally rang. "Mom," Stephen said, his voice eerily calm, "I killed the baby." The rest of the call was recorded by 911. Grace, sobbing, trying to understand. The dispatcher, struggling to process what she was hearing. And somewhere hundreds of miles away, Stephen driving north on I-95 heading toward New York with one final, horrifying plan. Because Stephen wasn't just calling to confess about Bennett. He was calling to say goodbye before he destroyed the rest of Katie's life too. April 12, 2018, 8:30 a.m., New Milford, Connecticut. Katie Fusco and her adoptive father, Anthony, were driving along Route 7, heading to visit Katie's grandmother. It was a routine trip, they made it twice a week. Katie was in the passenger seat, probably looking at her phone, maybe talking about her therapy appointments or her plans to go back to school. They had no idea that just a few car lengths behind them, Stephen was following in a rented blue minivan. He'd been tracking them somehow, maybe through Katie's phone, maybe through social media posts. He knew their route, he knew their schedule. And he'd been waiting. When they stopped at a red light at the intersection of Route 7 and Route 55, Stephen pulled up alongside them. A witness, a firefighter from New York who happened to be driving nearby, later described what he saw. The blue minivan rolled down its window.